My name is Tom Cilek. I work at West Bank. I'm a lender there. First of all, I want to thank you for coming. We decided to do this about 2 months ago. We thought no one's going to show up, and maybe we'll get 50 people. So we reserved the Coralville Council Chambers, and fortunately, Allison at the library reserved this room too. So we got a big crowd, and we really appreciate your coming. So we want to thank first Allison, the library staff. They set up the room for us this morning. They'll tear it down afterwards. We appreciate that. Eric Dickerson is our media guy. You'll enjoy a lot of the stuff here today. It's sort of special. I want to thank the West Bank team, Jim and Minda, and Kelly is really the key. She's the one that put this together, and Joe Venz. And then Daniel Andrews and Chick-fil-A, they're always our partners. We appreciate their help. We have 3 or 4 goals today. One is to provide you with meaningful information on Coralville. One is to build relationships, and third is to have some fun. As you can tell, I'm a Yankee fan, which we'll talk about in a minute. Also, we want to welcome our special guest, Senator Bob Dvorsky. He's here somewhere. Bob, thanks for coming. Dave Jacoby. Dave Jacoby was coming. I haven't seen him yet, maybe. But Lori's here. Lori Goodrich is here. So, and Dave Lesh is here from Congress and Lobsack's office. So, Dave, thanks for coming. And most importantly, my boss is here. From Des Moines, Dave Nelson's here, our CEO, Brad Winterbottom, and Harley Olafson. So when in doubt on the way out, if you meet this guy named Harley, tell him what a good guy I am. He's my direct boss. So anyway, as you can sort of tell, I'm a Yankee fan, and the background is that about a month ago, I was looking at the Yankees' schedule, and I saw they're playing the Cubs on May 5 on a Friday afternoon at Wrigley Field, and I thought, I think I should go. So I called my son, Ben, who grew up here and lives in Phoenix. I said, Ben, why don't you fly up and we'll go cheer the Yankees and see this game. So we did. So we go out there on Friday afternoon, and seats are pretty pricey. So, we bought them late, 10 rows behind the Yankee dugout, and with his buddy Ryan. So we're there, and we're trying to cheer for the Yankees. Well, it wasn't a really good day, very good much. The Yankees didn't score any runs for 8 innings. It was 2-0. We get the 9th inning. We say, well, it's about over. And the first guy goes out, so I'm ready to give up. But then a guy gets a hit. We had a guy in first base. So next guy strikes out. Now there's 2 outs. And the next guy walks. So here we are. It's 2-0. There's 2 guys on base. I thought, oh, my God, maybe something happened. Then there's 2 strikes in the Yankee batter. 2 outs, 2 strikes. And the Red Guard hits a 3-run homer. The Yankees win 3-2. But I'll tell you the rest of the story here in a minute. But first, Allison, come on up. We do have a quiz question. This is our baseball question, so I picked Allison sort of out of the crowd. I'm going to give her a question. If she gets this question right, she will win a Ponchero's burrito card. Okay. I think. So the question is, what team in the Major Leagues has the best record in baseball?
Would it be the New York Yankees?
That's exactly right. You're a winner.
Okay.
See, Allison's a big baseball fan, so we appreciate that. The rest of the story is that some of you, if you're old like me, you remember the music called "The Damn Yankees." It's an old musical. It's the story of a guy who was a Washington Senators fan. Again, if you're old, the Senators were a real baseball team before the Nationals were a baseball team. Anyway, this guy decided he wanted to have the Senators win the pennant and beat the Yankees. They always were good, so he made a deal with the devil that he would sort of sacrifice his wife if his team could win the pennant. So the whole story goes on. He gives the last game, and they're tied. And the guy comes up to bat, and he's now a young guy, and he changes his mind. He decides his wife's more important. But anyway, he still hits a home run. They win the game. So I had a similar experience. So on Thursday, my son Ben flew up, and so I went to bed that night, and the next day is the big game, and I thought I should pray. We went to bed, and I decided to pray. So I tried to pray to God, but the signals got crossed, and I got the devil. And the devil said, he said, I can help you tomorrow. He says, I said, I need a sign, a signal or something I typed to see if you're for real, if you can help me all year. So he said, just go to the game and watch it. So Ben and I are sitting there. I told Ben the story. I said, we're watching the game. He says, Tom, the devil's, he's no good. He's not going to help you. Sure enough, that 3-run homer goes out, and Ben says, by God, the devil guy's alive. So anyway, so where our theory is the devil was on the Yankees side. Maybe he'll be there all year. So okay, I guess we're off the races. We've got 8 speakers. Our first introducer is Joe Venz. Joe works with us, joined us a couple years ago. He has made my life pretty special. Joe is a bit younger than me, And he's glad to have friends who are younger, too. So it's been fun for me to work with Joe and his customers. Joe?
Well, I've been looking forward to this day for weeks actually as well, because when we started to plan the lunch, Tom said, hey, just a heads up, the day that we do it, you are going first. So I figured I should prepare my 4 minutes worth of remarks for my thoughts on the economic development of Coralville. So just a little bit ago, I asked Tom and Kelly, who are running the show today, I said, hey, will you guys review this and make sure that it's good? To which Tom looked confused and said, no, you're simply an introduction. And Kelly looked at me and said, you're lucky that we're allowing you to do that. I thought was a little bit harsh, but anyways, I'll be here after the lunch if you want to know my thoughts on Coralville and their economic development. So I am here to introduce Weston Hodge. Weston is a project manager with Hodge Construction. They are doing work in the Iowa River Landing, and Weston is going to highlight some of those projects today. So please help me in welcoming Weston Hodge.
And I do, in fact, have to hit the 4-minute mark. We're going to leave the music on. It kind of soothes me a little bit. Well, as Joe said, my name is Weston Hodge. For those of you that don't know me, I'm with Hodge Construction. Tom had asked me, it's probably been a month ago now, to speak here about the Iowa River Landing development, and in particular the Trader Joe's project. First, before I get started with the Trader Joe's project, I just wanted to give everyone a brief overview of my involvement through the years down at Iowa River Landing. I started there about 3.5 years ago, 2013, on the building A and B is what they call it. It's the building that butts into 30 Hop and also has wine styles. The bridal store, I think there's a few more in there. From there, 2015, we did the University of Iowa Extension project, which is a clinic on the second floor of that exact building, so that was neat to do that. 2016, we did a Bridge and Link project, which is actually still going on, and that's scheduled to be done here in the next week or so, but that's basically connecting one clinic to another. And here in 17, we're onto the Trader Joe's grocery store. But before I go any further with this, I'd like to give you some background on these videos up here and kind of how they came about. So when we started this Trader Joe's project, the reps wanted a live feed video, which would be just your still images and takes a picture maybe every hour, every 2 hours, and they go directly to the internet. They can look at construction progress. So we get the camera, we get it set up, we get power to it. Big ordeal, really. I mean, it was something. So we no more than get power to it. We're about to get it live, and Jeff Kiddo with Hodge Construction comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to take a video with my drone." So my first thought is, yeah, Jeff, he wants to fly his drone around and get paid for it. So, you know what I mean? Whatever, Jeff, go ahead. So he does this, and turns out it's a huge hit. Everyone loves it. It's very informative. Everyone can see the building, every angle. It worked out great. So the Trader Joe's rep that comes down every so often had come down, and his name is Don Strack, and he commented that on a previous project they used this same type of live feed camera, not the drone, but the still images. and he commented that he'd look at the images every week, and it's facing the front of the building, and bricks going up, and I mean, it's just right on schedule, looks great. Well, he made a surprise visit down to the site to check things out, just to find out that both sides of the building and the back were still, metal studs. So he was very enthused with the drone videos. You can really see, the progress of the project. So moving on to the building of Trader Joe's, we began construction in the last year, late fall, early winter. We were real fortunate to have a mild winter, and we were able to get the foundation in and get excavated and with not too much trouble. But with my time constraint here, I think I'm down to like 1 minute. I'm gonna jump to what I feel is a critical path of this building, and I guess how I feel about the whole development and the critical path to me on this building, and the important part of it, what makes it stand out, would be, in my eyes, all the glass. There's glass. It's the whole front of the building, just very large glass, and a lot of it. And then obviously the masonry work. The masonry work is very unique, and it's kind of one in its own. It's actually very similar to the masonry work on building A and B. And I'd like to show you some of the masonry work here. 1 minute. So this is a more recent video of the building. This may be the latest one. And as this goes on, eventually you'll see that the masonry work, there's a lot of corbelling, there's ins and outs, there's the columns have brick in and out, there's cast stone that has great contrast and really adds to the character of the building. And once this is completed, I really feel like this will be a very distinct building down at the Iowa River Landing Development. So as you've gathered, possibly, Hodge Construction, we are only doing the shell of the building, which is still a pretty major task with all the site work and challenges we've faced. Trader Joe's has their own independent contractor to do the build out, and they are scheduled to be here on the 1st of June. I guess I can't speak for Trader Joe's as far as an open date, but I'm sure it'll be coming up here this fall sometime. With the tight schedule and complexity of the building facade, I was very fortunate to end up working with such a great team. I have Jeff Kiddo, who works as a on-site manager, Annie Siegmiller, who I don't believe is here today, Kripe Architecture out of Indiana, Shive Hattery, the city of Coralville, Oliver McMillan out of San Diego. That great to work with and on the ball. I feel that Trader Joe's as a business is going to make a great addition to the Iowa River Landing Development, but at the same time really stand out as a very unique and standalone building. As I said before, our goal to have the Trader Joe's TI contractor on site June 1st, and we have every intention of meeting that goal. Thank you.
Well, my name's Jim Conard. I work at West Bank with Tom Cilek, and actually for my background music, I picked Britney Spears, so I don't know what's going on right now. All right. All right, wonderful. How about one more round of applause for Weston? First use of a drone video here today. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. I feel like giving a disclaimer here. Tom's talk about the Yankees is not nearly necessarily representative of West Bank or City of Coralville. In fact, are there any Cubs fans out there that I can hear from? There, thank goodness. I tell you what. I can guarantee you this next fan will not talk about the Yankees, this next speaker will not talk about the Yankees. In fact, Mark Nolte is going to come up and visit with us, I know, to be a Cubs fan. When the Cubs made the playoffs last year, I called up my buddy Mark and said, hey, let's go check out a game, and we had a great time. So be relieved, no more Yankees talk on the way, unless Tom gets back up here. I don't know, it's possible too. But only thing I want to say about Mark, I think he knows everybody in here, certainly needs no introduction, but a lot of the things we think about here and maybe even take for granted economic development-wise, such as this entrepreneurial ecosystem and co-working spaces and hosting Entree Fest, and I shouldn't have started listing them because there's many, many more. Those are still considered leading-edge types of things, and there's a lot of communities our size and much, much bigger that don't enjoy the type of economic development advancement we have here. And I give credit to Mark and his team for a lot of that. We are very lucky to have him here and his team. I see a lot of them here today, and thanks for joining us. And I want to turn it over to Mark to give us some of the highlights on what he's working on.
So after that playoff game, the Cubs lost 1-0. We still had a good time. And I saw someone, I was trying to get to Eddie Vedder, but I saw a different guy. And I ran down and I was like, Jeff, Jim, take my picture with this guy. And he was like, who is that? It was Jack White. And he was there. And so I posted on Facebook and someone was like, wow, you met Sigourney Weaver. So, but I don't need, I don't need my 4 minutes. Thank you for the introduction. There's a lot of great things going on. The message is the private sector in this area right now is thriving. It's really doing well. I look around this room and the number of companies in this area that continue to grow, it's amazing. We've got two projects that I'm not at liberty to talk about right now that will be announced soon. I think one may have leaked today, but about 800 new jobs. Not to mention the continued growth of companies like IDT and MetaRev and HLT, and we've got new entrants like ProCircular and Meld, and there's so many great companies, and it's things are going well. Our challenges 5-6 years ago, one of the big challenges to workforce was housing, and I think the development community, I look around with Hodge and Southgate and Watts and Build-A-Suit, we've addressed that issue in a big way, and it's phenomenal to see all these projects coming out of the ground. So now we have a housing stock that we can compete, and so it's attracting this type of workforce. And the last piece of that puzzle that's really still critical is education, right? Education and entrepreneurship are really the things that we do well as this county. And if we can continue to do that and focus on that and support those things, we can attract people from all over the globe. And now we've got a Trader Joe's. So that's the message. What we need is everyone's help. If you've got family members, if you've got friends, if you know people that are out there around the country that just don't love where they live, we need to message to them. We need to tell them this is a place where you can thrive, where your family can succeed, you can retire, you can raise kids here. That's really the challenge. So if everyone can help us spread that word, because we've got more jobs than people right now. We've got a gap of about 4,000 jobs we know we need to fill between what companies want to hire and where they know retirements are coming. And so if we can't fill that, that will stagnate our economy. But if we can keep growing our population, so 10.3% growth in the last 6 years for Johnson and Washington County, that's unbelievable. We're right next to Des Moines for fastest growing. We need to continue that. Second best city for entrepreneurship in the nation by Entrepreneur Magazine. These are the kind of things that we all need to be sharing and supporting. But if we can make this the place that we do entrepreneurship and innovation and education better than anyone else, we'll continue to thrive. So I thank you all for what you do for this community, and I guess that's it for me.
Hi, our next speaker joins us from CivCo Medical Solutions, a leading manufacturer of ultrasound guidance devices and infection control products. Alexis Swartz is the Director of Marketing at CivCo. She has been with CivCo since 2011, working primarily in product management and marketing communications. Prior to joining CivCo, Alexis spent time in various marketing roles with athletic teams and education organizations. She completed her undergraduate studies at the University of Iowa and graduate studies at the University of Denver in marketing and management. After spending 4 years in Colorado and California, she and her husband are happy to be living and raising their 2 young boys right here in Coralville. Please welcome Alexis Swartz.
All right. Thank you, Minda, and thanks for having us here today. We're really excited to be part of the Coralville community, and I do have just a couple slides to talk to you today about some of the development and expansion that we're experiencing. Thinking. All right. Unfortunately, my colleague Jen was not able to be here with us today. She leads our people operations, which I think is like the new term for human resources. She could talk to you a lot about some of the expansion that we're having on the employment side, but I'll just give you a little background on CivCo and what we do here in the community, as well as south of here in Kelowna. So we believe in positively impacting patient care. We stand by our core values, which are character, innovation, value and service to customers, community, which is very important to us, and as well as ownership. So what you're seeing there are some of the products that we manufacture. I'll give you a little more detail on the next slide. There we go. Sorry, I had to build out there. So we manufacture products that help with image-guided treatments, whether it be diagnostic or also therapeutic once you're treating a patient. We were actually founded by a sonographer, Victor Waddell, back in the 80s. He was a sonographer that started at the University of Iowa. He actually did his training out in California and then was looking for a place to raise his family because he didn't want to raise them out in, he was at the in Stanford in that area. So he picked the University of Iowa and settled in Kelowna, just south of here. So he had the first idea for a needle guide to help guide a needle in a patient without hitting unintended structures, and that's how CivCo was born. Started in a little storefront in Kelowna and have grown to 250 employees over the past 35 years. We now have facilities still in Kelowna. That's where we do the majority of our manufacturing. Our headquarters are here in Coralville, and then we also have a production facility in Juarez, Mexico. And we are a major supplier to large ultrasound manufacturers that you might have heard of, GE, Philips, Siemens, and other large companies that are in the healthcare space. We're in virtually just about every department of a hospital. Anywhere that ultrasound is used to perform either diagnostic or therapeutic treatment, you'd find a CivCo product, whether it be a needle guide or an infection control solution to prevent contamination between patients. So you kind of think of ultrasound as maybe used in OB, looking at an unborn baby, but really ultrasound is becoming a leading image-guided therapy as it's more economical for the physician to use. So we expect further growth from that in the future. So just a little timeline here to show you kind of where we've been. So as I said, we started in 1981 in a little tiny storefront. We expanded into our current facility in Kelowna and then grew that facility a few times in 1992. In 2005, we were acquired by Roper Industries. They're a publicly traded company. We were their first medical acquisition, and they've gone on to acquire several companies after us. We moved up here to Coralville in 2011, and that was a strategic decision that was made at that time to, make ourselves more attractive to new grads, to people coming to the area, to have a place where they could grow and raise their families. And we've seen a lot of benefits out of being in the community, particularly on the hiring side. For those of you that don't know, we're just off Highway 6 next to the Tyson's building. Sometimes when I tell people I work at CivCo, they're like, what is that? But they know we're next to Tyson's because you'll see the sign. We did begin production in Juarez in 2014. That was another tough decision. It's always a tough decision when you decide to move jobs outside of the U.S., but to compete in a global economy, particularly with our infection control products, which are more of a commodity item, it was crucial for us to have continued growth to move that part of our manufacturing offshore. And it has certainly fueled future growth because last year we acquired a company, PCI Medical, out of Connecticut to further our infection control business. And because of that, that's where we're at now, leading to our continued growth and expansion of our current site. So now, in our current facility, we are at 100% of our utilization of all our offices and cubicles. I can tell you we're even beyond that. I just hired 3 product managers that started on Monday, and we are sharing spaces at the moment. So we can't get this project started enough. So we're going to build that building out, basically double the size of what you see there. Would be an 84%, 10,000 square foot increase. And we'll have 20 new positions effective immediately when we have that build out complete. And that's part of that acquisition and the growth that we expect from the acquisition. We're fortunate to receive a TIF from the city of Coralville for the expansion. And we worked with the Iowa Development of Economics to get a high quality jobs program grant to help with that expansion. I think I'm at liberty to say it's about an $8 million project that we're undergoing, and we're really excited to put that money back into the city of Coralville. So, and then over time, we expect that the additional space will allow us to add 40 jobs as well that we'll have planned for in the future years. So that's about all I have. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we have Adam Cuny. Adam is a co-founder and the Chief Business Development Officer of Higher Learning Technologies, which is a mobile software company here in Coralville. So Adam is going to join us today to share some updates and new things that are going on over at HLT. So please help me in welcoming Adam Cuny.
Thanks, Joe. Tom, you're in charge of time, so if I go over, just throw something at me. Okay, so my name's Adam Cuny. I'm one of the co-founders over at Higher Learning Technologies. See a lot of familiar faces in this room, so I won't go too far into our past and creation story because you've all heard it probably 37, 40 times. But yeah, so we specialize in mobile learning. What we do is we work with some of the leading publishers like McGraw-Hill, Wiley, Kaplan, Pearson, and we take content that students need for studying either test prep or continuing education or general learning, and we take those and put them into mobile and optimize them for today's students who live on their phones. And I'm sure many of you have kids, especially millennial aged, they love to use their phones. I know it's a shocker. Just some quick stats on that. As you can see here, 2013, 80% of students preferred print. 2015, it was already down to 40%. This is a big trend, and this is going to continue. Again, students expect to be able to learn from these devices, and we want to optimize their learning outcomes on these devices. And one that's really interesting is you're seeing there, too, 21% of millennials aren't even using a PC anymore, which is quite shocking when you think about how our classrooms are set up currently. And it is a good sign, though, for some of those underserved communities that don't have access to desktops. What they do have is parents that have one of these devices in their pockets, and our goal is to make sure they can learn anywhere at any time. Here's just a quick kind of a glance at what we do here. Obviously, we specialize in mobile, and that's where we focus, but we do have desktop options for some of our students. But again, work with a lot of different publishers, work with the university. They've been a huge help to us in helping make sure, again, that this is the highest quality content delivered to these students. This is our team. Just figured a shout out to Mark for this and the ICAD group. As Mark was saying about the jobs, they have been incredibly helpful in finding us great talent in the area. We're competing nationally with other big brands, big companies, and in order to do that, we need the best of the best. And Mark has helped, and ICAD and several people in this room help source talent. And I really echo his message around find people, bring them here. We need these smart new ideas coming to Iowa. And we're fortunate enough to have a very good group of guys leading us. Took us under our wing as Ben, Alec, and I were 3 young guys with an idea, but we, again, had a great community, had some great business leaders that have agreed to take on our board of directors, including Dick Ferguson, our chairman, who is over at ACT forever. Truly invaluable. And a lot of people in this room, if you do have time, I know we're all busy, but reach out. young companies like ours, we love and we need mentors. And really, you guys giving your time and giving guidance in that. And I think that's what this community is really great at, is reaching out and helping. So please, if you do have some time, reach out to these younger companies, give back. They're the future of this area. Some announcements we're excited to make. We do have some new partners that we've put together. We've just signed a contract with the state for our first government contract. We will be taking all of the commercial driver's license information that anyone who's studying for that, we will be the official app for anyone in the state of Iowa, and we will be providing that to every Iowa citizen for free. We're very excited, hoping that that's phase one. Phase two, we're going to actually move on, if it goes well, to the actual regular driver's license as well as the motorcycle's license. And we're just about to launch a pilot with ASE, which is, you guys have probably all seen their sticker at your guys' mechanics. They certify mechanics all over the country, and Toyota to their official training as well. Very exciting, because these are things that are used by hundreds of thousands of people all around the world, and it's being developed right here in Coralville. And this one kind of copied over, but also got some awards recently we're excited about. The Technology Association of Iowa awarded us with Mobile App of the Year. And then again, to this community, Entrepreneur Magazine actually ranked us as the 14th best company in the entire country for the small business category for company culture. Again, that comes from having amazing people in this community. Keep bringing them in here. We definitely need to hire them. I know plenty of you in here are also looking to hire, so. And that's it. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. And I want to make sure I try and echo this, but if you do have students at the University of Iowa, all of our products are available for free to them. So feel free to let us know. I know a lot of students come up to us and don't know that, but we try and encourage that so everyone knows that we are trying to give back to the community. So thank you.
Our next speaker is Jerry Wadlove. Jerry is the CEO of Southgate Companies. Jody Braverman's here. Jody and Janie sort of overall own the place. They hired Jerry many years ago. He was their CFO for a while. Now he helps run the company to develop a great team out there. I think Jerry brings two things. One, he brings vision to the company, and he brings action to the company. Working with him has been a pleasure because he makes decisions and get things done. Jerry, thanks.
Thanks, Tom. It's kind of challenging going towards the middle or towards the end. Some of the things that you were planning on doing have already been taken, so hopefully I'll spice it up a little bit and give you something a little different. Because I did have a drone video. Honestly, I did. It was a minute. It was a little choppy. Sorry, Josh. I don't think Josh is here, but we have our own drone. But since our project is just dirt, it was just some of Carter and Associates equipment pushing around some dirt, so that wasn't really that exciting anyway. So, and then I guess I felt a little overdressed with the polos on us, couple of guys. But when the T-Swizzle came on, I was like, yeah, all right, shake it up. But before I get started, I kind of came up with some disclaimers. Some of these might have been discussed beforehand, but I just want Harley and Brad and Dave to know that Tom Cilek does work. Number two, we do enjoy working with Tom Cilek. Number three, Kelly Hayworth may or not be his friend. And then I do have a few slides as well. The following slides may include forward-looking statements and can't be relied upon for future enjoyment. And lastly, I think Ravi is next. I know he's more Marriott's and Hilton, but I did not stay at a Holiday Inn last night. Yes, I don't know the title of this luncheon, but it's Coralville Growth, Coralville Development, Economic Development, but I think you all know this is just a party for Tom Cilek and his friends. So here's what I've been asked to talk about. We have a project, a mixed-use project. It's called the Crossing Commons. It's a mixed-use project at the corner of Camp Cardinal Boulevard and Kennedy Parkway on the far southwest side of Coralville. We are planning a project, right here is a picture from, I think, about December or so. So a little bit of activity been going on lately with some dirt moving going around. Hopefully start in earnest here in the next couple of weeks. So the vision for this project has an interesting start. The site is about 2 acres, and as a developer, you want to try to maximize that density and see making a good project out of it, but then is also financially viable. One of the challenges that we ran into was environmental sustainability. We have this picture in our break room at Southgate offices, and it's just kind of a stock photo of a street in Paris. But as you can see there, it has an underpass. And I don't know if that was specifically in any of our minds or if it was just sort of in the background of our minds. But what you'll see here on the next slide is we kind of use that image and created our own underpass. So with the Crossing Commons, we've incorporated that. But before I get there, I kind of feel like a ice cream salesman. I got a little bit of something for everybody. This is for the engineering types. If you want to geek out on where the stormwater management area is, where the water main is going, where the sewer line is going, and all that. That's all there. There's some parking and whatever. But this kind of would be an aerial part. This is over the land, so that this is kind of what it's going to look like as we get to that first level. The part on the left or on the west side of the project will be at-grade parking that will be covered, and that will be for the residents of the condominiums, which I'll talk about. Then we have about 4,500, 4,600 square feet of commercial space that's on the east side. That's kind of that box there. And we got showing some trees up there as well. So this is a rendering of the Crossing Commons. As I mentioned, this obviously is not going to be right there like that. That's kind of over the trees and on the street, but this is a conceptual rendering. We've partnered with Fusion Architects and Hall Engineering to do the site work and architecture for us. But it'll be 26 condominiums, roughly about 1,200 square feet each, a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. And also, like I said, on the west side there is the underbuilding parking and then some commercial space as well. And then for those of you that, this is kind of my other flavor. We've grabbed this, thanks to Joe, grabbed this board from City Hall here, and if you want to touch the siding and see what it's going to be like, and the stone and brick and all that, you can come up and touch that if you want. But this is the last slide. I saw Nate out there, so I kind of primed him up a little bit, but I'll kind of leave that on the side for now. As you're looking for Google images of Tom Cilek, this cool looking guy was one of the ones that showed up. I don't think that's Tom Cilek, though. Maybe his name is Tom Cilek, but this is the Tom Cilek I know. And he happens to be with Jim Connard and Minna Heyman, and I think that looks like they're at Pullman. So I'd love to come back at the next one of these and announce that there's a mashup. I mean, you guys haven't given a whole lot of love to Coralville other than 30 Hop. We'd love to have you there at Big Grove and Pullman Diner mashup at the Crossing Commons. Thanks.
Sounds like a winner to me, Jerry. Also, you got to let me know where you got that jacket. I need to work one of those into my banker repertoire. That's pretty nice. It's always a tough act to follow Jerry at any speech, but the next guy that's coming up is just the guy to do it. I'd like to say that in this day of an age of technology and being able to work from anywhere, companies that we work with can choose where they have their headquarters. And as folks in Johnson County, we all get pretty excited when a company like Hawkeye Hotels that has hotels all over the Midwest and throughout the South could choose to locate anywhere, and they choose to have their headquarters right here in Coralville. And as a matter of fact, the building is just completed, and the big sign with their logo just went on last week. So lots of exciting stuff going on at Hawkeye Hotels, and excited to have Ravi here to tell us more about it. So let's help me bring up Ravi Patel.
So it looks like every time I turn on the news these days, someone's getting booed at a public forum, someone else is getting fired. So I thought I was in safe company. Then I see my brother walk in the room, so I don't know if I'm getting booed, fired, or both. So a couple quick thank yous. Thank you to West Bank, Tom, Minda, Jim. Thank you to the city of Coralville. And most of all, thank you to Chick-fil-A. Give it up for Chick-fil-A. So I've got a pretty interesting relationship with Chick-fil-A, actually. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about that. Growing up, I always wanted to go to Chick-fil-A. I'd ask my dad, "Dad, can we go to Chick-fil-A?" He'd be like, "No." And I'd be like, "Why? Like, why not? Why can't we go to Chick-fil-A?" He's like, "One, you are a vegetarian." I was like, "Okay, makes sense." "Two, stupid name." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Why?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He'd be like, "Why Chick-fil-A? Need to be Chick-fil-A plus, like your sister's report card." Yeah, I was like, okay. So, but I think most of you know the bulk of our story at Hawkeye Hotels and how we originate. We started with one roadside motel that my parents purchased in Mena, Arkansas, and they laid a great foundation for myself and my siblings, and we've been able to grasp that and really grow it into what it is today. And dynamic organization, as Jim mentioned, we're extremely excited to have our corporate headquarters in Coralville, Iowa. So just a few quick things about what we've been up to and what we're seeing in the hotel industry. We have so far this year acquired 5 hotels throughout the country in Louisiana, Texas, Birmingham, Cedar Rapids. We're currently under construction on another 6 properties as well throughout the country, and we look forward to breaking ground on 6 new construction hotels as well. We only work in 6s. So in terms of our projects locally here, we have Fairfield Inn and Suites that we are opening in Coralville. As you all know, there are a lot of other hotels happening around Coralville, Iowa City area as well, which we can talk about in a moment. So we have the Fairfield Inn and Suites. We just opened up a residence inn in Coralville, or in Cedar Rapids, purchased a property up there as well. And as Jim mentioned, we opened up our corporate headquarters, and that's been extremely exciting for us for a multitude of reasons. So historically, I don't think Coralville has been known as the hospitality mecca of the world by any means, but what we have taken a lot of pride in is bringing on individuals throughout the community, like John Hall, who's our CFO, joined a few years ago, and other leadership individuals who have taken us to the next level, and we've been able to groom local individuals to really fit inside of this hospitality world. And also on top of that, we've seen a lot of really strong hospitality professionals come back to Iowa to work with our company as well. So it's been really exciting. We have about 35 employees there currently, and we're going to continue to grow, hoping to expand and hire on another 10 to 15 individuals as well. Pretty interesting setup for us. We're a little bit different than your typical hotel company. We're highly data-driven, extremely high-performing teams, and it's really a big pride of mine and my family's to surround ourselves with the folks that we do here in our community and just have that strong community support as well. In terms of other development happening around Coralville and Iowa City area, I'm sure a lot of you are aware that there's an immense amount of hotel development going on around this area, and that can be good or that can be bad. It can be bad because of oversupply, but it can be really good because now what can happen in this community, and I know for folks like Josh Schomburger and others, they can bring in major conventions, major groups, and we can really increase the demand pool for the Iowa City Coralville area. And all that consumer spending for all those hotel guests equates to about $250 per person who comes in town. So they're eating at Nate's restaurants, they're shopping at the mall, and they're really flooding our community with more capital as well. So that's really exciting. And then lastly, I mean, one other thing we've been venturing into recently is we have recently started a restaurant division for our company as well. I'm sure a lot of times when you all stay at hotels, you see that it's your typical hotel restaurant. That's not very exciting at times. So for us, I mean, we've got development projects throughout the country, and one really important one that we've been focused on is one my brother's taken a lot of pride in, which is the Hotel Fort Des Moines in downtown Des Moines. And we're going to completely rehabilitate that building and bring it back to the majestic appeal it used to have. And so alongside that will be bars, restaurants. And so for us, it was really important to create a division that could ensure that we had the most inventive concepts coming into our hotels. And we decided to do a few outside of that as well. So we'll be opening up a restaurant in the Iowa River Landing called Marquee, which will be a mix of it'll be pizza, bar, wood-fired, mix of kind of Brooklyn meets Little Italy style pizzeria. And so that's exciting. And we'll do a few more of those around here as well. Sorry, Nate. And so that, with that, the corporate office and just a lot of the other development that we have going on around Iowa and the country, that's a quick snapshot on what we've been up to. So thank you all very much. Really appreciate it.
In Coralville, we're very proud of our fests and our community events. And our next two speakers are two of our great volunteers of many that we have in the community. Menda Heyman from West Bank is in charge of the parade for the Fourth Fest, and Lynn Snyder from Gregory Products is one of our co-chairs of Fourth Fest.
I'm Lynn Snyder. That's Minda, in case you've already met her. I am a co-chair for the Fourth Fest in Coralville, along with Paula Bakey, who's over here, who is, Tom, Coralville's largest Cubs fan. She's a huge Cubs fan. So I'm basically going to tell you the Fourth Fest in Coralville. Every year we honor an icon. We started this a few years ago, working up to our 150th for Coralville, which is coming up in about 5 years. I've lost track. So anyway, this year we are going to be doing the Coralville Drive-In. We have buttons. The Coralville Drive-In was actually right here. You are in the spot where the Coralville Drive-In used to be, which some of us in Coralville actually might pay to get in once in a while. Not often. Terry has buttons. Terry Kading has some buttons for sale. They're $3 a piece, so you can get 2 for $5. If you haven't gotten the last few years' buttons, she also has a set from the last few years you can get for $10. So you need to collect. These are great buttons. Excuse me, I'm not much of a public speaker, so I get a little nervous. So the 4th of July actually is a 4-day event. It starts on the 1st of July. We have a 5K run and a kids mini marathon. So if you're into the 5K, that's a great thing to do. It starts at 8 o'clock on the 1st of July. Also on the 1st of July, the carnival will be coming in. So it'll be here from the 1st to the 4th. We have lots of vendors in the park. We usually get 7 or 8 food vendors, various different kinds of food, anywhere from, all-American hamburgers to, cotton candy and stuff. So it's great in the park. Then we go into the concert, which is on the 3rd of July. And this year we have our concert headliner is Tommy James and the Shondells. Anybody want to sing along, Moni Moni? Crimson and Clover? I'd sing for you, but you wouldn't. We start the evening, though, at 6:30 with the Sidewinders. We've had the Sidewinders for the last couple years. They are a U.S. Army band, so we like to support them. They are out of Fairfield, and they're a lot of fun. A lot of high energy. They have brass with they're playing, so it's a really, really good band. And like I said, then you come into the concert with Tommy James and the Shondells. Welcome to come out. Bring your chairs, bring your blankets. Eat with our food vendors. And that's my day.
So if you survived the 5K run and the kids marathon and didn't stay up too late with the Sidewinders and Tommy James and the Shondells, you can wake up early the morning of July 4th and join us at the annual Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast at Northwest Junior High. Tickets will be available in advance or at the door. You'll be glad you started your day off right with a good breakfast. Immediately following the breakfast, the Coralville Fourth Fest activities continue with the area's largest Independence Day parade. Does anyone know what year the first Coralville Fourth Fest parade was? There's a flag in it if you guess. 1983. That's correct. In 1983, the 1876 Coralville Schoolhouse was ready to be dedicated as the Johnson County Heritage Museum on Independence Day. However, organizers were concerned that no one would come only to listen to speeches, so they brought in Chick-fil-A box lunches. Actually, they had a parade. They decided to hold a 4th of July parade at the same time as the dedication with the theme Honor Our Heritage. The parade was so popular, it became a Coralville Fourth Fest tradition. We are currently accepting entry forms for the 35th annual parade. We have 60 entries so far, and we anticipate having about 120 entries. Parade entries are encouraged to continue the Fourth Fest theme of Coralville's drive-in theater, and we present awards for Best Interpretation of Theme, Best Walking Group, and Most Patriotic, and the Grand Marshal Award. Does anyone know how many people attend the Coralville Fourth Fest parade? Again, if you want a flag, you got to answer. Anybody? Close. Actually, I have no idea. But I know it's a lot. So last year, one entry passed out 8,000 bottles of water to parade goers. And frankly, I think you were lucky if you got one of those. You also won't want to miss seeing award-winning Belgium horses, the Iowa City Community Band, a float practically covered in flowers and plants, a 1940 International Fire Truck, Herky and the UI Spirit Squad. I think there's a dancing gorilla sometimes, and many local talented youth, just to name a few. The fun doesn't end after the parade. It continues in St. Morrison Park with family-friendly activities such as face painting, bounce houses, games, and you can indulge in more food and snacks from local food vendors. And as if all of this isn't enough, the multi-day celebration that is Fourth Fest concludes in the park with an extravagant fireworks display. We look forward to seeing everyone there, and thank you for your contribution today because it does support Coralville Fourth Fest.
Thank you very much, guys. You are two of our great volunteers, and any of you that would like to join them, they can always use help. But we're coming to a close on our program today, and first I would like to thank all of you for attending today and coming to these events. We really appreciate your support and all the things that you are doing in the community. Would also like to thank West Bank. We give Tom a hard time and Jim and the other crew there. We're a growing community, and West Bank has been strong supporters of Coralville, and we really appreciate all that they have done. So let's give them one more round of applause. When Tom and I put together the lineup today, we had many to choose from, and we had great speakers today and great projects. Some of those that we didn't include today that are going on in our community is Leapfrog just opened their new facility in Coralville. There's a 300-unit millennial housing project that will be starting soon. The Iowa Arena Complex is going great. And my partner in that, Josh, and I are looking forward to some great announcements over the next 2 months on that project. Expansion Zero Systems Energy is expanding out to a new building. The 4th building for 808 on 5th has been started, and they are planning their 5th. Riverview Plaza on the old Brisky site will be starting this month by Watts Development. Old Town 2 is just being completed by Watts Development. MediRev is going through an expansion. Again, it'll be about their 5th in the last 3 years. Voxella and Pro Circular are two new companies in our community that are just moving into new facilities in the University of Iowa Research Park. Those are just a few of the additional things that are happening in our community, and we're really excited about all those things that are happening. One of the things that Tom likes to do is count in tens. He can't count beyond that. So I decided that I would, for those of you that haven't made your plans yet for summer in Coralville, I thought I'd give you the top 10 things to do in Coralville this summer. 10, we'll start at the end. Don't let your summer wind down too soon. Celebrate with 5th Street Social on Saturday, April 19th from 4 to 10 p.m. with live music, beverage garden, kids zone, car show, and food vendors. And once again, we will close 5th Street at 8th Avenue for a street dance. Then save the date for Fry Fest on September 1st with a pep rally, trade show, concert, and more. 9. Enjoy a free summer lunch weekdays in the shelter at St. Morrison Park every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Bring a child you know or volunteer to help with serving lunch, then join in the activities and games with the kids. If you need a little extra for lunch, there are always plenty of carrot sticks on the share tray. When I was in school, we didn't call the food that no one wanted the share tray, but I guess that's what Tom Cilek would call marketing. 8, discover a part of Coralville that you haven't visited before. One idea is to walk along the trail and wetlands walkways just east of the Coralville Marriott. Enjoy peaceful views of the Iowa River and bluffs, sculptures created by Iowa artists, and the sound of nature. 7, plan a block party for National Night Out on August 1st. This is a great way to meet your neighbors. Sometimes people ask, what is the secret to getting the police to come to your party? Is it the donuts? And while donuts never hurt, if you register your party with the police department, we will try to make sure someone from the city council, police department, and fire department stops by. The police department and fire departments bring their gear and vehicles and usually have a few party tricks up their sleeves. 6, make time to enjoy golf at Brown Deer Golf Club, Coralville's own public 18-hole course. Afterwards, enjoy dinner and drinks from divots on the open-air patio or in the air-conditioned clubhouse. No matter how your golf game goes, or even if you don't play golf, you can't go wrong with cold beer and good food. Believe me, I know. 5, don't forget to give back this summer. One way is with the Battle of the Badges Blood Drive on Thursday, July 27th from 2 to 7 at the Coralville Public Library. Pledge your donation to police or firefighters as they compete for the traveling trophy. 4, this year for 4th Fest, we are commemorating the old Coralville Drive-In Movie Theater. We are offering an updated version of the drive-in movie on June 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at St. Morrison Park. Bring a picnic and pull the kids in your wagon or the ride-on toys and watch The Secret Life of Pets on a big LED screen. 3, on July 10th, enjoy the music of the world-famous Glenn Miller Orchestra at the Coralville Center for the Performing Arts. Tom Cilek will be the first to tell you that longevity is a top indicator of success. Well, this group has been touring since 1956. 2, speaking of longevity, have you heard about Coralville's free 4th Fest concert entertainment this year? Tommy James and the Shondells. Some of you may not be familiar with that name, but they have some of the most covered songs ever. At 4th Fest, you will hear songs like I Think We're Alone Now, Crimson and Clover, and Monty Monty by the original artist. We also welcome back, by popular demand, the Sidewinders, the 34th Army Band of the Iowa Army National Guard, for the 3rd year. They were organized in 1921. We may not be getting the original band members on that one. These are going to be great shows once again. As always, we will have the parade, pancake breakfast, and carnival, Iowa City Community Band, and the best fireworks in Iowa. There is nothing like 4th Fest in Coralville. And the number one thing to do in Coralville this summer is get out and enjoy, explore, and experience all that we have to offer. Spend your summer with us. We have some prizes that we'd like to give away in honor of our new Trader Joe's that will be coming. We have some wine that the big boys from West Des Moines brought over for us. And I think Brad said he only drank one bottle on the way. So we're really proud of the new Trader Joe's opening here. And Deanna Trumbull, our marketing consultant for the I-River Landing, yesterday got a call from the Albuquerque, New Mexico newspaper asking him, how did Coralville, Iowa, how in the hell did they get a Trader Joe's? Albuquerque has been trying for a long time, and they have not got that yet. So, first one.
The way you can help draw, I want to just fix in case. Because if I draw, Harley's going to win.
So
we want to be fair.
Okay, the first one for a bottle of wine.
What's the name? I don't know. A bottle of wine. And the winner is? Dan Holderness. Dan Holderness.
Yeah.
More wine?
Yep, more wine.
More wine. Dick Hakes.
Dick, my favorite guy from the Press Citizen.
Rose Rollback? What? Three more, I think. Tom Cilek. No. Tara Wackendorf.
The next one is for coupons for the carnival at the 4th of July.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
That's the big one.
That's the next one. That's the next one.
Carnival rides, right?
Yep. You can buy these in
You have to
advance.
sign up. Caleb Wilson.
Now we get one of those Ford Fest collector buttons.
Does he get the wine?
No, we're gonna give that one. Here's the button.
Here's a button. Barb Thomas? Where's Barb?
Two more. You got the wine.
Two more wines. Okay, here we go. The last two prizes. We have one more speaker, though. Don't leave it. I want to keep my job.
Dave Story.
Dave Story. My friend Dave. This is the last one?
That's the last one.
Jim's going to close. Okay. Jared Lyons.
All right, we're going to bring up a special guest here for closing comments. Before I do that, we just want to, on behalf of the City of Coralville and West Bank, just thanks everyone here. You know, as the old saying goes, rising tide raises all ships. And, you know, that's certainly the case here. And our goal was to celebrate all these folks that are doing things to help our economy and to help all of us in what we do by either bringing their headquarters here like Ravi's group, or starting a company here like the HLT folks, or expanding your footprint like CivCo, bringing in companies like the Trader Joe's folks and what ICAD's doing. So wonderful day to celebrate those folks. At West Bank, our goal is to identify those companies and to help celebrate them and just to contact them and see how we can help. We like to think that our relationships that we've built and the resources that we have are real beneficial to folks like that. So if you're in a company that has plans to grow or expand or do some exciting things, we just love to know about it, and we'd love to see how we can help. So our last speaker to give some closing comments here is the person that kind of helps us all do our jobs the way we do it. And according to American Banker, as of 3 days ago, an announcement in there, is also the CEO of the #9 top performing bank in America, the CEO of West Bank, Dave Nelson.
Hello, everybody. Well, Wow, that is a great forum. That was just truly an awesome forum. Very happy to be here. Special thank you to all of our speakers. Your messages were very informative and very powerful too. Thank you for your leadership and your passion. And thank you and congratulations to each and every one of you, whether you're a builder, developer, contractor, business person, you're all community leaders, and your combined efforts truly have created something very enviable with our community and this local economy. West Bank is very pleased to be part of it and appreciates the opportunity to partner with you. We do have some of our West Bank directors here with us. See Ravi over here. Ravi, thank you. And David Barker, Leighton Smith's back here. I know Kevin is here. Oh, there you are, Kevin Digman. So a special thank you to all of you. I don't think I'm missing anyone else, hopefully. Just one last thing, a special thank you to our dear friend Tom. Everybody loves Tom, and as a favor to me, if you'd please tell him so, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.